Hi guys, welcome. So this is gonna be a Vinyasa class level 1 and 2. It's gonna be quite a fiery class, so you're prepared to sweat a little bit. So we're gonna activate this inner fire responsible for transformation, which is what we seek when we come on our mat, and using this fire to burn any kind of impurity in our mind, to reawaken that light which is always present within us. So go ahead and grab a couple of blocks. If you don't have any blocks at home, just a couple of books will do the job. And then let's meet somewhere to the bottom of the mat, sitting onto our heels. If this is highly uncomfortable for you, just place a blanket under your knees. And then place your hands onto your thighs, close the eyes down. You can keep the palms facing up, or maybe the hands onto the thighs. So depending if you need some energy, some extra energy today, keep the palms facing the sky, otherwise palms grounded onto the thighs. And just go ahead, connect with the breath. Noticing each inhalation and exhalation as they enter and they leave the body. Taking the time to arrive, to land in here, to land in this room wherever you are and in your body today. Knowing that the pace of your practice will indicate the pace of your practice. You can start straight away engaging a Ujjayi breathing if you have it in your practice by sealing the back of the throat. Or if you don't know what that is, just keep breathing in and out through the nose. Activating that inner flame, that inner fire within your chest. And then noticing what's the state of your mind today, what's the state of your thoughts, any repetitive thought pattern, any worry, any anxiety present, just welcoming it. Placing yourself in the seat of the observer, witnessing, noticing without trying to fix anything, without trying to change anything. Just breathing into that. And then slowly with each exhalation, let those worries, those anxiety, any thought related to past or future melt away from your body. So inhaling, bringing space, witnessing. Exhaling, letting go. Together, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Again, inhaling. Exhaling. When you feel grounded enough, when you feel the breath is strong, then place your hands together in front of your heart center. Take a moment to set an intention here. It can be anything, just maybe connect with your heart center and listen to what your heart needs from you today. Just speak the first thing that comes up. Trust that that's the right one for you. And then start breathing yourself into that intention, into that way of being you'd like to embody today in your practice. Let it grow. Let it expand. And then when it feels strong enough, just let it sink into the heart center. Seal it there with the exhalation. Let's take together again one deep inhale into the nose. Exhale, clearing the breath out. Then go ahead and rub your hands together faster and faster, creating some prana, some heat, some energy. And then moving the hands onto your closed eyes, staying into the darkness, observing, watching what's there for you. Being curious. When you feel ready, just let the light enter by spreading the fingers out wide and blinking the eyes open. Release the hands next to your hips. And then go ahead, interlace your hands behind you, pressing the palms together, pulling the hands away from you, lifting the heart up skyward, looking up, lifting the gaze, lifting the chin. Taking one inhale here and then exhaling, moving the fists towards the outside of the left hip. Taking one inhale here by pressing the elbows towards each other, still widening the collarbone. Taking one inhale here, exhale. Inhaling, pressing the arms, the hands away from you, opening the chest. And then exhaling, moving the fists towards the outside of the right hip. Pulling the elbows towards each other to widen the collarbone even further. Taking one breath in here. Exhale. And then inhaling again, pulling the hands away from you, lifting the heart, looking up. Exhale, releasing the hands onto the mat. Lifting the hips away from the heels, moving the fingertips towards your knees. We're gonna do a quick wrist warm up here. So inhaling to lengthen the spine, and then exhaling, start sitting towards your heels. Just notice what's the limit for you here. Just trust there. Maybe you can hop back and forth a couple of times. The more you sit towards your heels, the more intense it's gonna be the stretch. Taking one more breath here. And then moving the hands to a natural position. Moving the hands in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips, tucking the toes under. Next inhalation, opening the chest in between the arms, rolling the shoulders up and back, looking up. And then exhaling, cat shape with the spine. Chin to chest, pushing the floor away. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, crawling in. Tucking the tailbone under. Inhaling, heart open, lifting the gaze, lifting the chin. Exhaling. So you can keep moving this way, or you can find some extra movement. Maybe you feel you need to shift your hips side to side, roll your neck, whatever your intuition, your body is asking you today. Just trust that. Just use the right movement for you to awaken the fire, to awaken the body. And then when you feel ready, come back to neutral tabletop. Again, inhaling, opening the chest skyward, and then exhaling, this time keeping the arch in the spine, sending the hips towards the heels. Then inhaling, crawling in, chin to chest, cat shape with the spine. Exhaling again, chest in between the arms, hips lead the way. Inhaling, rounding. Exhaling, gliding it back. Inhale to round. Exhale, this time lifting the knees off the mat, coming up into a downward facing dog. Feeling into this downward facing dog. Maybe it's your first downward facing dog of the day, so maybe you need to paddle your feet a couple of times, create some movement, maybe bending one knee, bending the other, spinning the chest open side to side, and then see if you can find eventually some stillness, pressing the hands onto the mat, spreading the fingers open and sending the chest towards your thighs, bowing towards your heart. And then inhaling this time, shifting, rolling forward into a high plank. When your shoulders come over the wrist, exhaling, releasing the hips towards the mat, hovering, engaging the legs here, rolling the shoulders up and back, opening the chest in between the arms, looking up. Taking one breath in here, and then exhaling, pushing yourself up and back, downward facing dog. Again, inhaling, shifting forward, exhaling, hovering. So if this feels really bad in the lower back, you can always open the legs wider and micro bend the elbows. So pulling the chest in between the arms, taking one inhalation here, and then exhaling, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. One more, inhaling, shifting forward, exhaling, hovering. Inhaling, opening the chest, exhaling, coming back, downward facing dog. Then bending the knees, start walking the toes, the feet in between your hands, and come onto your fingertips. Inhaling, finding a flat back, exhaling, folding over. Grabbing the opposite elbows with your hand, release the head down, let it hang down, let your body be heavy, let your head be heavy, and just swing side to side a couple of times, feeling the pull of the earth grounding you. Taking one breath in here. Exhale, let go of the hands onto the mat. Next inhalation, arms reach all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, we start, arms reach up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, stepping left, stepping right foot. Inhaling, finding plank. Here, either lowering onto the knees or maybe shifting forward, bending the elbows, lowering, chaturanga. Inhaling, upper facing dog or maybe cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Next inhalation, right leg reaches up. Exhaling, stepping through, grounding through the legs, hugging the inner thighs towards the midline. Inhaling, we rise, crescent lunge. Exhaling, bending through the front knee. One more, inhale, pulling the ribs in. Exhaling, hands onto the mat. See if you can lift the right foot, hovering from the mat, sending it back into a downward facing dog. Either staying here or maybe shifting forward. Again, finding plank, taking one inhalation here, and then exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, upper facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Next inhalation, left leg reaches up. Exhaling, step it through. Ground through the legs. Send that outer left thigh back and into the midline. Inhaling, arms reach up. Exhaling, bend. One more, inhaling. Exhaling, hands onto the mat. Lifting the left foot off, sending it back, downward facing dog. So anytime during this practice you decide whether you feel like you need to come back to a resting position, to a downward facing dog, or maybe you need one more vinyasa, it's just up to you. What I encourage you to do is to always choose the breath. Try not to do any mindless vinyasa, but rather go back to your breath. When you feel ready, next inhalation, right leg reaches up, and then exhaling, opening the right hip, sending the right foot towards the left side, and twisting the torso, spiraling the chest open towards the right side. Taking one inhale here, exhale. Next inhalation, coming, lifting the left heel off the mat, and then exhaling, circling the right knee outside the right elbow. Taking one inhale here, rounding the spine, and then exhaling, releasing the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Coming into lizard, so maybe you want to readjust your stand for a moment. You are onto your hands, pressing onto the ball of the back foot, really engaging, shooting that back heel back behind you, and feeling a nice stretch of the left upper thigh. Hug that right knee in towards the upper right arm. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Next inhalation, right arm reaches all the way up. Exhaling here. Then I start moving my left hand a little bit more inwards. Taking one inhale here, exhaling, turning all 10 toes towards the right side, flexing the left foot, releasing the right arm towards the left leg. Inhaling, lifting up, right arm reaches all the way over the head, exhaling, hovering the hips. Inhaling, pushing onto the right foot, right arm reaches all the way over, exhaling, hovering. One more, inhaling, exhaling. The next inhalation, turning all the way towards the front of the mat, walking the right foot a little bit more towards the inside. Taking one breath in here, lifting the torso over the front thigh, exhale. Next inhalation, straightening the front leg, sending the outer right hip back and in. Inhaling, find length in the spine, exhaling, folding over. Revised pyramid. Taking one breath in here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then softening through the front knee, grounding that left hand. Come onto the knife edge of the left foot and see if you can send the right foot on top of the left. When you feel stable enough, find your side plank, sending the right arm up towards the sky. You have different options here. Maybe you want to lift your right leg, finding the balance. Maybe you want to grab your right toe and lift the right leg up. Wherever you are, taking one breath in here, and then exhale. See if you can place your right hand onto the mat, crawling the right knee onto the chest, and then step the right foot in between the hands. Taking a moment to ground here. Inhale, exhale. Next inhalation, we rise up, arms reach all the way up, and then exhaling, placing the palms to touch, finding length here, pulling the ribs in. With the exhalation, sending the palms towards the back of the neck, pressing the thumbs onto your back, stretching the back of the upper arm. Taking one inhale here, lifting the chest up, skywards, exhale. Maybe finding some kind of back bend, reclining the head onto your forearms. Taking one more inhale, exhale. Next inhalation, arms reach up. And then exhaling, we open, warrior two. Placing the sole of the left foot onto the mat, bending through the right knee. So making sure the right inner thigh is super active here. Fingers squeeze together. Bend through the front knee, keep pressing onto the outer edge of the left foot. Pull the ribs in, tuck your tailbone under. Maybe you want to lift the front heel off the mat. That will force you really engage in the front thigh to keep the front knee honest. The next inhalation, releasing right heel onto the mat, straightening the front leg, left arm behind the back, right arm over the head. Taking one inhale here, lengthening through the right side of the body, and then exhaling, bending the front knee, releasing the right hand onto the mat or perhaps onto a block. Inhaling, left arm reaches up. Exhaling, left arm all the way over the left here. Parsvakonasana, so pressing the upper right arm onto the inner right thigh and lifting, turning the chest forward and up, pressing onto the outer edge of the left foot. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Inhale, and then exhaling, circling the arms towards the front. Turning the right foot parallel to the shorter edge of the mat, readjusting your stand perhaps, placing the hands underneath the shoulder, coming onto the fingertips. Inhaling, lifting the torso halfway, finding length, and then exhaling, releasing the head onto the mat or close by. Maybe you're up here with your block, that's also fine. Or maybe you have your head onto your mat. In this case, you can choose to stay here, or perhaps you want to take a headstand, if that's in your practice. Wherever you are, just press onto the outer edge of the feet and turn those thighs pull the thighs towards the outside and in. Really engaging the legs here. Taking a couple more breaths. And then if you're up onto your headstand, just come down. Next, inhalation coming onto the fingertips or onto your block. Inhaling, lifting halfway. And then exhaling, folding. Turning towards the front of the mat, coming into a low lunge here. Placing the hands to frame the front foot. Pressing onto the hands, lifting the right foot up and sending it back into a downward facing dog. Taking a moment to ground, to arrive. Feeling that fire that is activating into the body. Can you keep an equanimous mind during the challenge? Can you watch your mind instead of identifying with it? And then when you're ready, next inhalation, left leg reaches up. Exhaling, opening the left hip, spiraling the chest towards the left side. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Next inhalation coming, lifting the right heel off the mat. Exhaling, circling the left knee outside the left elbow. Taking one inhale here, crawling the spine, and then exhale, release the left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Hands are onto the inside of the left foot, coming into your lizard. You have always the option here to come onto your elbows if that feels fine, or maybe you are onto a block, that's also okay. See if you can really hug that left thigh onto your left upper arm. Taking a couple of breaths here, see if you can move the chest forward in between the arms. And then next inhalation, left arm reaches all the way up. Exhale, hugging the thighs towards the midline. One more inhale here, moving the right hand a little bit inwards. Taking one more inhale, and then exhaling, turning all 10 toes towards the left side. Flexing the right foot, inhaling, pressing up, lifting the hips up, left arm reaches all the way over the head. Exhaling, hovering, inhaling, coming up, lift and stretch, exhale, one more inhale, exhale, next inhalation, rolling all the way forward towards the front of the mat, walking that left foot a bit more towards the center, in line with the left hip. Coming onto your fingertips, hands are framing the front foot, inhaling, lifting the torso over the front thigh, exhaling, straightening the front leg, inhaling, lifting again, exhaling, folding over, forehead onto the front shin, or maybe far away, that's also fine. Option to use the blocks here if the floor feels very far away from you. Couple of breaths here. Keep hugging those inner thighs towards the midline, shooting that back heel behind you. Next inhalation, lifting the chest forward. Exhale, softening the front knee. So here, grounding onto the right hand, coming onto the edge of the right foot. Either grabbing the big toes or just moving the left foot on top of the right. Wherever you are, maybe you want to find some extra challenge with your top leg. Again, maybe you want to grab your big toe and look up and see if you can balance. Whoop. And then slowly releasing the left hand onto the mat, crawling the left knee towards the chin, and then exhaling, releasing the left foot in between the hands, grounding onto your feet, inhaling here, exhaling. The next inhalation, we rise all the way up, exhaling, hands to touch, inhaling here, and then exhaling, bending the elbows, thumbs touch the top of the back beneath the neck. Taking one inhale here, exhale. Again, inhaling to lengthen through both sides of the waist, and then exhaling, finding a slight back bend. Next inhalation, arms reach up. And then exhaling, opening, warrior two. Bending through the front knee, grounding through the edge of the back foot. Softening the shoulders, softening the jaws. Next inhalation, maybe lifting the front heel off, engaging that inner left thigh even more. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Next inhalation, reversing right arm behind the back, left arm over the head, straightening the front leg. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. Left hand inside the left foot, right arm reaches all the way over the head. Hugging that inner left knee onto the upper left arm, tucking that tailbone under and really pushing onto the outer edge of the right foot to spin the chest forward and up. Taking one inhale here, exhale. Inhale to lengthen, exhale. Moving the arms in front of you, placing the hands under the shoulder. Maybe you want to go for one more headstand here, or maybe you want to grab the big toes with your hands, inhaling, lifting halfway, and then exhaling, folding over. Again, if this is not available for you, you can always be onto your block here. As long as you have a very long spine, a long neck, you can be up here, that's also fine. Taking a couple of breaths here. If you're in headstand, slowly come down. Next inhalation, we lift halfway. And then exhaling, we turn towards the front of the mat. Hands framing the front foot, pressing onto the hands, lifting the left foot, sending it back, downward facing dog. Again, you're welcome to take a vinyasa here, staying into a downward facing dog. Just make sure you are careful with your energy and with your breath. We are gonna meet into a downward facing dog. Next inhalation, we roll forward, high plank, and then exhaling, releasing the knees onto the mat. Inhaling, chest goes in between the arms. And then exhaling, we slide the thighs and the belly and everything onto the mat. Keeping the hands under the shoulder, pressing onto the feet here. Engaging the legs almost to lift the kneecap off the mat. Hugging the elbows to the midline. Inhaling, pressing up into a cobra, rolling the shoulders up and back. Long neck. And then exhaling. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling. Inhaling up. Exhaling. And then this time moving the hands towards the outer edge of the mat, either coming onto the fingertips or still on the palms of the hands. Moving the legs out wider towards the edge of the mat. Next inhalation, we come up into a high cobra, extending the arms perhaps. Lifting the chest forward and up, rolling the shoulders up and back, really grounding through those legs. Pressing onto the pinky finger side of the feet. If you feel a pinch, if you feel discomfort in your lower back, just move the legs wider, maybe bend onto the elbows. Taking one inhale here, option to gaze up, exhale. One more inhale, exhale. Inhale to open. And then exhale, slowly release the forehead onto the mat. Pressing yourself up into a tabletop and exhale into a child pose. Taking one breath in here, exhale. The next inhalation, roll forward, exhale, downward facing dog. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Then bend the knees, step, or maybe you want to try to hop the feet in between the hands. Inhaling, lifting halfway, exhaling, folding. Inhaling, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to our center. Releasing the arms alongside the body, grounding through the feet, maybe spreading each toes out wide, really grounding onto the earth. Next inhalation, arms reach all the way up. Exhaling, come sitting onto your invisible chair. So make sure you shift your weight onto your heels here as you start lengthening through the side of the waist, pulling the ribs and the navel in. Taking one inhale here, exhale. Next inhalation, lift the heels off the mat. Exhale, sit back. Inhaling, engaging the thighs, reaching all the way up. Reaching up skyward. And then exhaling, start bending again the knees. Find a point in front of you which doesn't move. And then slowly, slowly come sitting onto your heels. Hands to touch. Taking one inhale here. Exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale. Exhaling. Then release your hands in front of you onto the mat. So here you have several options. Either you walk your knees to your armpits and you work onto your crow pose, or you just stay a little bit longer into tuck toes with your hands to the heart center, or you just step back into a child pose, downward facing dog. If you want to work onto your crow pose, just move the knees up to your armpit, lift the heels off, taking an inhale here, maybe exhale, step it back, push it back. Inhaling, upward facing dog, and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Taking one breath in here, exhale. Then bend the knees, step walker, hop the feet in between the hands, inhaling halfway, exhaling. Inhaling, arms reach to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment to close down the eyes and really reconnect with your ground. Noticing this healing wave of energy running through your body. Feeling into the ground, feeling held, feeling that despite the challenge, you're still here. Let's take a breath into the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Then open the eyes, release the arms alongside the body. Inhaling, arms reach all the way up. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, looking halfway. Exhaling, stepping or maybe jumping back this time. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Let's keep going. Inhaling, right leg reaches up. And then exhaling, shifting forward, knee to chin. Hold it there, inhaling. And then exhaling elegantly. Stepping the right foot in between the hands. Grounding through the feet. Inhaling, arms reach all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling here. Exhaling, gazing forward. Torso move forward, inhaling here, and then exhaling, springing to the top of the mat, lifting the left knee towards the chest. Go grab the left knee with both hands. Find a point in front of you. Focus on that point. And then either you stay here if this feels enough for you today, or maybe you place your right hand onto your right hip, catching the big toes with your index, middle, and thumb. Then inhaling, finding length in the spine, exhaling, standing the left leg forward. Maybe you have your front knee, the left knee bended. As long as you have your standing leg straight, that's fine. Inhaling here, exhaling, opening towards the left side. Challenge to look forward or look towards the right side. Inhaling here, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling this time, sending the left foot back. Hands onto the hips, warrior 3 for a moment, pulling the ribs in, exhaling, softening the front knee, landing the back foot towards the back of the mat. Inhaling, arms reach up. Exhaling. One more inhale here. Exhaling, splitting the arms open towards the right side. Inhaling, exalted crescent. Exhaling, arms parallel. Inhaling, arms reach all the way up. And then exhaling, straightening the front leg. Torso move forward, lengthening the back. Arms to the side, all the way onto the mat, coming onto the fingertips. Inhaling, lifting the chest. Exhaling to fold. One more breath here. Exhale. Then bend the front knee, place the hands onto the mat, lift the right foot off the mat, sending it back into a three-legged dog. Inhale here and then exhale, open through the right hip. Here, this time, pressing onto the right hand, squaring the shoulders off. Taking one inhale here. Exhale, either staying here or maybe you want to flip the dog over. Releasing both feet onto the mat, sinking the hips down and then bridging them up, finding your wild thing. Right arm reaches all the way over the head. Taking one inhale here. And then exhale, slowly with control, coming back into a downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to ground, maybe taking a child pose if that's what you need. You have always the option to come back to the breath anytime the challenge is there. When you're ready, next inhalation, left leg reaches up. Exhaling, knee to chin. Doming the spine, inhaling here. And then exhaling, releasing the left foot in between the hands. Grounding through the feet, getting ready to rise all the way up. Inhaling, arms reach all the way up. Exhaling. Inhaling, find length. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart center. Inhaling here, open the chest. Exhale, torso move forward, hovering from the front thigh. Inhaling here and then exhaling, activating the legs. Spring the right knee towards the chest this time. Go hugging the knee with both hands. Pull onto your left pinky finger and big toes. Taking one inhale here. Exhaling, perhaps left hand onto the left hip, grabbing the big toe, finding extension again in the spine, and exhaling, straightening the front leg. Inhaling here. And then maybe exhaling, opening the right leg. Stay with the balance, whatever it is. That changes every day. Staying here or maybe looking towards the left side. Breathe. Don't hold the breath. Just keep breathing. Inhaling. And then exhaling back to center. Taking one inhale here. Exhale. Send the left foot towards the back of the mat. Coming into a warrior three. Hands onto the hips. Hips are square. Flex the left foot. And then soften with onto the left knee. Release the back foot onto the mat. Inhaling, crescent. Exhaling. One more inhale here. And then exhaling, hugging the inner thighs together. Open. Splitting the arms open. Inhaling here. Exhale, bend through the front knee. Inhaling, exhale, crescent. Exhaling, arms parallel. Inhaling, arms meet to the center. Exhaling here. Inhaling, straightening the front leg. And then exhaling, moving the torso forward. Long spine. Reaching the hands onto the block or onto the mat, coming onto your fingertips. Inhaling, find length. Open the chest forward and then exhaling, fold. Maybe you need one more inhale to find extra length. And then exhale, folding over. Taking one more breath in here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, soften the front knee. Ground your hands onto the mat. Lift the left foot off, sending it back and up into a three-legged dog. And then exhale, open the left hip. Ground through the left hand, keep the shoulders square. And either stay here again or maybe coming into your wild thing. One inhale here. I'm grabbing the plant. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhaling, slowly, slowly, with control, coming back, downward facing dog. This time, releasing the knees onto the mat, come sitting onto your heels, close your eyes. You can keep the palms facing up or maybe grounded. And again, taking a moment to notice the energy moving, the fire. Noticing that despite the challenge, despite what it felt unbearable, you're still here. That there is an essence within you which is untouched by the challenge. Taking one deep inhale here. Exhale. Open the eyes. Place the hands onto the mat. Come into a downward facing dog. The last one for today. Then inhaling here, exhaling, find your way to sit in between your hands. So maybe you just step your feet in between your hands and you come sitting here. Or if you want to try it out, you can just jump. Just legs together. Coming into Navasana straight away. Maybe you have your knees 90 degrees, maybe you straighten your legs. Arms reach forward, engaging the core here, looking up. Shake it like this, shake. Take one inhale here, exhale. One more, exhale. One more, exhale. Then release, right leg in front of the left. And come with your forehead somewhere onto the mat. Extending the arms forward. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then walk your hands back towards your legs. And this time come opening the legs out wide. So maybe you want to check what's the right width for you by grabbing the edge of the feet with your hands. And once you have it, either you keep the hands here, or maybe if that feels like you're rounding your spine too much, if you do so, just place your hands in front of you. What's important here is to find length in the lower back, rolling the shoulders up and back. Taking one deep inhale here, and then exhaling, start walking the hands forward. So you can come onto your hands, or you can be here, which is fine, or maybe onto your elbows. Or maybe you're up here, that's also fine. Just let your head anchor there. Wherever you are, just arrive, folding over. Maybe you're here, or maybe you're grabbing onto the edge of your feet. In that case, inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, folding. And then staying here, breathing into the forward fold. So what you want to do here is really engaging the thighs and flexing the feet to protect the knees. And then wherever you are, just release the head down. Make it the top of your body soft. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaws. Forward folds are made for surrender. So see if you can just let go here. If you can just trust that the body will open up. And accept whatever it is right now, however you are, however you feel. That's the beginning for any transformation. That's the start for any transformation. Taking one more breath here. Long breath, lengthening the exhalation. The next inhalation, lifting halfway. And then exhaling, walking the hands back towards your legs. So here, maybe lifting the hips away from the mat. Start bending the knees, bringing the legs back to the center. Once you're there, bend the knees, place your feet onto the mat, get hold of the back of your thighs, inhaling, lifting the torso forward and up, and then exhaling, using your thighs as brakes. Just start laying down onto the mat, engaging the core one last time, and then arriving all the way onto the mat. Keeping the knees bended, moving the heels in front of the sitting bones, feet hip distance apart, to a distance where you can touch them with your fingertips. Getting ready to come into bridge. So imagine to have a block in between your thighs, or actually place a block in between your thighs. Squeeze it, and then in, lifting the hips off, sending the hips up, and then sending the knees forward, interlacing the hands behind the back, and then walking shoulders to shoulder, lifting the chest a little bit higher, pressing the palms together, pressing onto that fist, and lifting the hips a little bit higher here. You can either stay here, or if you have a wheel in your practice, you're welcome to take it. If you don't know what that is, just stay here, breathe. Taking a few more breaths. Keep squeezing that block, especially if you're in wheel, lifting the hips up. And then slowly, slowly, with the next exhalation, we release the hips towards the mat, and we hug the knees to the chest, giving yourself a squeeze, rolling side to side, massaging the lower back. And then from your, drop the right leg all over the left, open the arms out wide if you have space, otherwise cactus shape with your arms. Inhaling to the center, exhaling, releasing the legs to the left side. Grounding the right shoulder onto the mat so that you can spin the chest open towards the sky a little bit more. If you feel like you want to deepen your twist, placing the left hand onto the right knee, pulling gently the legs towards the left side. See if you can lengthen the exhalation here. Maybe close the eyes. Feel into your heartbeat, feel into your presence. Notice the state of the mind. How does that feel right now? And the next inhalation, coming back to center, switching leg, left leg over right, inhaling to center, and then exhaling. Let it drop towards the right side. Again, right hand onto the left thigh or onto the left knee, deepening the twist. Keeping that left shoulder as close as possible towards the mat. And again, softening the face. Using this practice to feel that we always have the option to come back to ourselves. Whenever the ground beneath us is shaking, we always have the option to come back to the present moment. And then inhaling back to center, releasing the bind, hugging the knees again. This time lifting the forehead towards the knees, squeezing yourself into a small ball. Inhaling here at the top of the inhalation, hold the breath. And then with the exhalation through the mouth, release the legs onto the mat. Let the feet fall out wide to the edge of the mat, palms facing up, coming into your Shavasana. So maybe you want to grab a blanket, you want to grab anything that makes you comfortable, that makes you enjoy this state of energy of being light. And then before you let go of the breath completely, just take a couple of conscious breaths. In and out through the nose. Each inhalation is a rejuvenation, a new light, new radiance. And each exhalation is a letting go. Noticing the spaciousness in between each breath, in between each inhalation and each exhalation, there is a pause. There is a break of stillness. What's in there? And then when you feel ready, just let the breath be soft and natural. Enjoying this fire burning throughout your chest, throughout your entire being. Enjoying your spaciousness and vastness. You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Otherwise, you can start moving your toes, your fingers, bringing awareness to the body. Start deepening the breath. And then in your own time, find your way onto either of your side, taking a couple more breaths there. When you feel ready, help yourself up to a seated position in front of your mat, keeping the eyes closed if you feel comfortable. Placing the hands to touch in front of the heart center. Together, let's take one deep inhale into the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Bowing your forehead towards your fingertips. As a gesture of gratitude towards yourself for taking the time to practice today, to cultivate presence through the challenge. Namaste.